Does Hadith contradict the Quran?
Omar, you wouldn't believe how clearly Hadith contradicts the Quran. You would have to be completely blind not to see it. I'll give you several examples of how Hadith directly contradicts the Quran, dishonors the Prophet and distorts the true image of Islam, claims miracles that can be easily disproven by science, introduces new legislation that is not found in the Quran, degrades women, all of which have nothing to do with the Quran and Islam.
Give me examples for Hadith that directly contradicts the Quran.
There are many examples, Omar, but to keep this discussion brief, I'll share just a few examples. As a Muslim, it is your responsibility to seek the truth. Don't rely on this video, any other video, or any person. Your duty is to study the Quran for yourself and verify the truth directly from Allah's words. Here are examples of Hadith that contradict the Quran. Hadith: whoever changes his religion, kill him. This one-line Hadith in particular was used by many like Ibn Taymiyyah and Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, which is the Wahhabi sect. As well, what are falsely called Islamist groups to kill many Muslims, claiming that the verses in the Quran guaranteeing freedom of belief only applies to non-Muslims, not Muslims exiting Islam. This Hadith contradicts many verses in the Quran, including verse 256 in chapter 2. There is no compulsion in religion. The right course has become clear from the wrong. And also verse 29 in chapter 18. And say, the truth is from your Lord, so whoever wills, let him believe, and whoever wills, let him disbelieve. This second Hadith also contradicts the verses I have mentioned. The Hadith states, I have been commanded to fight the people until they say, there is no God but Allah. Whoever says there is no God but Allah has protected his life and property from me, except by its right, and his reckoning is with Allah. Next Hadith: I have been given the Quran and something like it along with it. Contradicts verse 88 in chapter 17. Say, if mankind and the jinn gathered in order to produce the like of this Quran, they could not produce the like of it, even if they were to each other assistants. Also Hadith: do not initiate the greeting of peace, salam, to the Jews and Christians, and if you meet any of them on the road, force them to the narrowest part of it. Contradicts with chapter 60, verse 8. Allah does not forbid you from being righteous and just toward those who have not fought you because of religion and have not expelled you from your homes. Indeed, Allah loves those who act justly. The Hadith about stoning adulteries. A woman came to the Prophet and admitted that she had committed adultery. He ordered her to be stoned to death. Contradicts with the punishment Allah stated in the Quran, which is 100 lashes in verse 2 of chapter 24. The woman or man found guilty of sexual intercourse. Flog each one of them with 100 lashes. Their excuse is that the verse talks about unmarried adulteries, which is not true. The verse is general and does not specify married or unmarried. Of course, the list goes on and on. These Hadith directly contradict the Quran, yet many justify them with forced explanations. The Quran is complete and self-sufficient, and any contradiction exposes the falsehood of external sources.
Adam, these Hadith clearly contradict the Quran. But what about Hadith that dishonors the Prophet and distorts the true image of Islam?
There are countless examples, Omar. Here are just a few. Hadith: the Prophet married Aisha when she was 6 years old and consummated the marriage when she was 9. Hadith: the Prophet used to pass by, have sexual relations with, all his wives in one night, and at that time he had 9 wives. Hadith: when the Messenger of Allah wanted to be intimate with one of his wives while she was menstruating, he would command her to wrap herself with a waistcloth, and then he would be intimate with her. Hadith: the Prophet used to kiss and be intimate while he was fasting, and he had the greatest control over his desires among you. Hadith: the Messenger of Allah saw a woman, so he went to his wife Zainab, who was tanning leather, and fulfilled his need with her. Then he went out to his companions and said, indeed, a woman advances and retreats in the shape of a devil. So if one of you sees a woman, let him go to his wife, for that will repel what he feels in himself. These Hadith portray the Prophet as someone obsessed with sexual desires, as if his main focus in life was intimacy. The list goes on, of course. We have listed just a few Hadiths degrading the Prophet in Islam.
Tell me about Hadith that claim miracles that can be easily disproven by science.
This are many as well, Omar. Here are some examples. Hadith. If a fly falls into the drink of any one of you, he should dip it in the drink and then take it out, for one of its wings has a disease and the other has the cure. Hadith. Whoever eats 7 dates of ajwa in the morning will not be harmed by poison or magic on that day. Hadith. Some people from the tribe of Ukul came to the Prophet and accepted Islam. They found the climate of Medina unsuitable for them, so the Prophet ordered them to go to the herd of camels and drink their milk and urine. So they set out and did so. Hadith. In the black seed, there is a cure for every disease except death.
How about Hadith that creates legislation with no basis in the Quran?
One of the most significant examples is this Hadith. The covenant that distinguishes us from them is prayer. Whoever abandons it has committed disbelief. If you neglect prayer, you are a sinner, just like if you neglect giving to the poor. Allah warns of punishment for those who fail to pray or help those in need, but He never declares someone who does not pray a disbeliever or a kafir. This fabricated hadith has been exploited by so-called scholars to falsely accuse Muslims of disbelief, leading to the claim that if a person does not pray, all their other good deeds, like fasting or giving zakah, are worthless. This is one of the greatest distortions introduced into Islam. Other legislation created by hadith with no trace of it in the Quran include hadith. Trim the mustache and let the beard grow, be different from the polytheists. And hadith. When one of you eats, let him eat with his right hand, and when he drinks, let him drink with his right hand, for Satan eats and drinks with his left hand. And hadith. Whoever keeps a dog except for hunting, herding, or farming will have 2 qirat, large rewards, deducted from his good deeds each day. And hadith. The Prophet saw a man lying on his stomach and said, "This is a posture that Allah dislikes." There are many more, of course.
Give me some examples of hadith that were created to intentionally degrade women.
Many hadith was created specifically to degrade women and create disbelievers and atheists and out of them. Examples include hadith. If a dog, a donkey, or a woman passes in front of a person performing prayer, his prayer is nullified. And hadith. A woman should not travel alone for more than 3 days without a mahram. And hadith. The Prophet said, "I was shown the hellfire and saw that the majority of its inhabitants were women." Also hadith. There is no contagion and no bad omen, but evil omens are in 3, the horse, the woman, and the house. Hadith. A woman should not fast except with her husband's permission if he is present. Hadith. When a man calls his wife to his bed and she refuses, the angels curse her until morning. These hadiths have no trace whatsoever in the Quran, and this last one is the worst by far. Hadith. The sinners are the inhabitants of hell. It was asked, "O Messenger of Allah, who are the sinners?" He said, "The women." A man then asked, "O Messenger of Allah, are they not our mothers, sisters, and wives?" He replied, "Yes, but when they are given, they do not show gratitude, and when they are tested, they do not show patience."
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed discovering the real Islam and found the information helpful.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you can continue learning more about Islam directly from the Quran.